All right. Hi. I actually wrote something down today I was going to read. As a very young child, I spent a lot of time in a dog box hanging out with the dog named Blue. But I would call him Baloo because I identified with Mowgli from the Jungle Book, a boy raised by wolves in the jungle. But then the man cub must return to the village of man and learn the ways of man, do as men do, to civilize oneself. We learn a lot at home and mentors at school, but then after a certain age, are raised predominantly by our peers, or increasingly by the internet. We raise each other and are raised up in kind. Cultures born of confusion can birth nothing but confusion. A long time ago, wow, here we go. A long time ago, a phrase fell into my lap which felt extremely profound. Those who lie down with dogs come up with fleas, meaning basically you become what you surround yourself with, or you are what you eat. But during this time, I was also feeling bombarded by signs from the universe pointing at me saying, "You're the dog," and not in a kind, loyal, spirit animal way. It was more of the connotation of, "You're such a dog," as you would say of a young man who is too sexually desirous or superficially focused. And I had to take a really hard look at myself, the way I had treated women, and how I could be a healthier male to be around. This was difficult for me because I never felt like I had done anyone wrong. I had never had bad intentions. I was very defensive about this opportunity for self reflection. But I felt that I had a duty to myself and to the collective to face my more animal nature so that my higher nature may prevail. It was also around this time I became deeply disturbed by the amount and nature of some of the sexual connotations we bring into everyday life, where it really doesn't belong. The ways we force sex in everyday mundanity, the way we force everyday things into our sexual attitudes, the immaturity of those attitudes. In a lot of ways, I worry that these things are reinforcing unhealthy attitudes uh, toward what should be a beautiful celebration of intimacy and sensuality. Another problem is internet pornography as a business empire, which has flooded the information channels with raw and visceral depictions of every cheap gimmick and morbid curiosity you can think of. We tend to absorb these ideas and bring them into our everyday worlds. The addiction to pornography not only desensitizes one to a point where they can no longer experience the true pleasures or passions of life, but it also rewires the brain to make more and more outlandish connections between sex and everyday life where sex does not belong. A big problem here, for me at least, is that sex has become such a small thing. It's to the point where the people who have it the most are the least equipped to appreciate the experience. Now, men tend to process emotions through physicality. If you couple this with low emotional intelligence and cultural suppression of the emotionally in touch man, you have a human being who would eat styrofoam to feel full. I won't lie and claim that I never have casual sex or masturbate, or that I've retained my semen until it's shot out of my nose. But I realize now that these things aren't a form of nourishment. All of this overconsumption numbs you to your inner self. The wounded masculine has run amok. On the other side of this situation, a commodification of sex has occurred as opportunists will exploit any exposed wound or emotional sickness. I'm not here to shame or condemn sex workers, but I would like to express my feelings that they are on some level exploiting an illness of needing and deepening the wounds of the masculine aspect in order to heal the wounds of the feminine. Perhaps that's okay. Maybe that is necessary within the grand design. You may even think that it's some sort of justice in the overarching cultural perspective. But I wonder if we can't manifest a way of mutual healing. I don't know either way, but I know with clarity that these ersatz affairs will not heal the soul. And for some of the girls in these positions, I can empathize to some degree. When you're homeless or nearly so, you need food and shelter, but then everything is free until it isn't. You might even find yourself taking drugs just so you can feel like you're anywhere other than here and now. If this is you right now, I promise you that there is no hole you can't get out of. There are no places you can't there are places you can go. There are people you can turn to. Just have the strength and the courage to be vulnerable in a different way. As a man, we may feel hurt or defensive when we hear that about the confused and confusing misdeeds of the wounded male run amok. We may take up a holy crusade to strike down the offenders. We may deny that our culture is in deep need of repair. But the first and most important thing we can do is to engage in a deep introspection of ourselves and our lives and admit when we were wrong, if only to heal the wound within ourselves, but also to build a better you, to be someone deserving of trust and for the benefit of everyone, regardless of who and what they are. I'm embracing the idea that we can turn our burdens into blessings. We can find the strength within ourselves to say, "Hi, I haven't always been my best self, but I'm becoming better. I'm not perfect, but I'm not that dog, and I'm not trying to hump anybody's leg." And then just put that into practice. That was all I wrote. Sure, I could go deeper, but I'm going to leave it here. All right, bye.